I don't know how you all get your news. Maybe it's watching this channel. But for me, I'm not a Twitter guy. So I'm constantly refreshing websites like I'm a boomer or something. Maybe I'm on the Bleacher Report stream. Anyways, I'm on the Bleacher Report stream and I see this article. I see this article that says ranking the NFL's top dark horses to lead major offensive categories in 2023. And it's on my Detroit Lions thing. So I'm like, why do they have this on there? This isn't a Lions story. So I started thinking to myself, well, I bet there's going to be a couple Lions in there. So let's go down here. And I'm going to make the argument that the Lions have 2 stars on their team right now that people aren't talking about, and they're getting respect on this. We're going to talk about who they are and why they are. So the first one you can see is in a quarterback. No, that is not a Detroit Lion. That is Trevor Lawrence. But the very first category they're talking about is most passing yards. So the dark horses to have the most passing yards, naturally the big ones are, the Mahomes, the Justin Herberts, the Joe Burrows. They're going to be in the conversation. But they're saying there are 3 players. Number 3 is Tua Tagovailoa of the Dolphins. If he stays healthy, 100%, yes. Dak Prescott, same. All right, especially with Tony Pollard in the mix. But then with number 1, none other than your Detroit Lions, Jared Goff. All right. It says this about Jared Goff. Goff may well be the most underappreciated quarterback in the NFL. Pause, Lions fans. Let's talk about that for a minute. The question is he the most underappreciated quarterback in the NFL, or is he the most underappreciated quarterback in Detroit? Because I think the answer can be both. Because he's this guy who went out and put up over 4,000 yards, over 20 touchdowns, over 25, I believe, with a ton more that ended on the one. Just ask Jamal Williams. He got a bunch of those touchdowns afterward. And yet we're all talking about who's the next quarterback. And we're acting like he had an immense amount of weapons around him. Here's what he had. He had a good, very good offensive line. He had Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is a tremendous slot receiver. He didn't have a ton more. Jamal Williams was a guy who got, after rushing for 17 touchdowns, only got $4 million a year. That tells you the talent that he is at the running back. He had an often injured DeAndre Swift, and he kept putting up numbers. And I think next year with a healthy JMO, as long as he can have more catches than drops this year, but what that could do to a defense, an even better line, just waiting to see what they do in the draft. The sky could be the limit. It could be the limit for Jared Goff. But he's not the only one represented. Let's see what else he gets here. It says he gets very little run despite quietly ranking 6th in the league in passing yards last year and tied for 5th in the NFL in passing scores. A healthy Jameson Williams will make the Detroit offense that much more dangerous, and a Motown eruption could be coming in 2023. Okay, Motown eruption. Okay, so Jared Goff makes the list. Do we have other Lions on here? I think that's the best question. Also, do you agree? Should Jared Goff make this list? I think he absolutely should. I think he has an outside chance. Jared Goff really could be one of those guys that out of nowhere is throwing for almost 5,000 yards next year. I mean it. I think he could absolutely do it depending on how they want to run this offense. It could be there. All right, most passing touchdowns. He doesn't show up in this one, but I could put him in there. I think Lamar Jackson's an interesting one. All right, most rush yards. Are we going to get Montgomery? No, we are not. This is a young man's game for rush yards. So you got Breece Hall, J.K. Dobbins, Kenneth Walker. These are the dark horses. What about the most rushing? Oh, I know that guy. That looks like David Montgomery. Well, Jamal Williams had the most rushing touchdowns last year, and they're saying the number 1 player likely to get this is David Montgomery. Najee Harris and Ramondre Stevenson are the other dark horses, but let's see what they have to say about our new running back, the $18 million man, David Montgomery. It says, after leading the league in rushing scores in 2022, William joined the New Orleans Saints in free agency. He was replaced by Montgomery, who will ostensibly serve as Detroit's between the tackles and short yardage option. If you believe the Lions will continue getting better in 2023, then Montgomery should be one of the biggest beneficiaries. Okay, So here's what I love about the David Montgomery pick here. When you read that, it is not even them saying that David Montgomery is going to be a great running back that's going to get all these touchdowns. They're saying the Lions were good last year and they're going to be even better. So like when we're looking at these things, you have to just kind of revel and be excited in the fact that Montgomery is on this list because of the team he plays for. And that team is none other than your Detroit Lions. Are you kidding me? I love when, even though I like the Detroit versus everybody thing, I love when the national media is saying things like that because it makes me realize maybe I'm not crazy. Everybody sees it. And I don't think we're ever going to get sick of seeing it. And I know right now it's draft talk season. I get it. But sometimes when articles come out like this, when people keep talking good about our players, I think we need to realize, and we've talked about this a lot, that we have a team that's ready to compete right now. We have a team that's ready to compete right now before we ever make a draft pick. And when was the last time you could say that as a Detroit Lions fan? When was the last time you could say we have a team that we expect to make the playoffs? We have a team that we expect to compete for the division. We have a team that we expect just to do good. We have a team that we won't guess the record at 8-9 or 9-8, but we're more likely to go 10-7, 11-6, 12-5 if you're nuts, right? Maybe even 13-4 because there's talent on the roster. David Montgomery is one of those guys. Jared Goff, is he one of those guys? Is he a beneficiary of all the other guys? I don't know. But here's what I do know. I get Jared Goff throwing for a ton of yards this year because now he's got a legitimate deep threat. DJ Chark was hurt most of last year. When he got back, it took him quite a while to get going, and then it was still contested catches downfield. Jameson Williams proved that he can separate. Oh my goodness, can he separate? Now he just has to prove he can catch the ball. There are so many more yards to be had. I'm just so excited about this team. And now you have a defense that's going to be better, that's going to get the offense back on the field. Time of possession should be more in our favor this year. Man, let's get there. I'm excited. It's April. Let's play football. 5 months away. Who cares? Let's go. And it is so exciting to see. And that's the question you have to ask yourself. What was the last year that you were this confident in the Lions to start the year? That's a great comment below. Also, do you think David Montgomery and Jared Goff are deserving of making this list? Hit me with those comments below. Hit the subscribe button. Join us for the NFL draft live. You can put the draft on the TV back there, but let's have a conversation, one where you can be part of it. You can be hitting us up on the thread. We'll be responding to comments that people are making. Love hanging out with our Sports Talk Detroit community for the draft. We'll see ya on the 28th, 27th. Okay, see ya.